I went a little
And he
sparkled in. He says, I went a little early today on the count because the Knicks are on at 7:30. Oh, we got stuff to talk about with Joe Schoen in the Senior Bowl and we could draft a quarterback if we don't draft a quarterback, but Daniel Jones is a quarterback, but if there's a quarterback we like, we might take a quarterback. I know he's not going to give up his game plan. He's not going to give up his philosophy for what the draft is going to be hold for these New York Football Giants. He's just not going to. But it's just one of those things that he's like, when healthy, Daniel Jones is our quarterback. But if we see a quarterback that we like, we could take a quarterback. It's year 3 now, Joe. He intends to take a good player at 6. Is that like the same good players you took at 5 and 7? Just asking. Just throwing that out there, asking for a friend. Are those the same guys you took at 5 and 7? The good players? You got it right with Banks. And I know he's not going to tip his game plan. He's not going to tip his free agency game plan right now. Oh, we got what do we got? What does Max say? Max custom kick says Shane says if he is impressed by one of the quarterbacks, he won't hesitate in trading up. Let's hope one of these young guys impresses him and he takes the shot. I'm hoping and praying at this point in time. It is what it is. I mean, he's either going to take a quarterback or he's not going to take a quarterback. But you are going to have Daniel Jones on this roster next year no matter what. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Well, there's a big but. If he can come back from the injuries. And that is the biggest question mark. Because Joe Schoen has readily came out and said, hey, listen, he's healthy. He's our starter. I really don't know how he can make that assessment. I know like I said, I know you're not going to give up your draft strategy. But I just find that real. I don't know. I don't know. What's up, Chris? What's up, Tim? Skyline's in there saying hello, everyone. Daniel Bear Sports Highlight says, yo. How's it going? Joe Rev. Look, I wore the hat just for you, Joe Rev. I knew you were going to be in his house. So we got a manual saying, yo. I mean, it's going to be interesting because, you have some guys playing, quarterbacks in the Senior Bowl. You have Penix is there. Sam Hartman, the guy that went to Notre Dame and thought he was going to make his draft stock rise even more, and it seemed to come down to earth a little bit. He should have went out the year before. So I mean, there's a couple guys on the Senior Bowl roster, that can really, that really are it's going to be interesting to watch this year. And I think that's going to be, they have the American team and the national team. I always love that. They always think ahead. What do you got? We got the Americans and the Nationals. So I am going to be curious to see a couple guys play out because I think Penix needs to have a good showing. I think Hartman has to have a good showing because you have Bo Nix is there as well. So I think Bo Nix has got to step up a little bit as well. So I mean, literally, you really have to find your foothold, and I mean the old Giant philosophy was take whoever's the MVP of the Senior Bowl. Let's just take that guy. That was the Getty way. Don't forget the like button. But this isn't your old time Giants. You want to know why? Because we put neon in the draft room. Just remember reading that. I remember going on Twitter and Giant fans were like, "Oh, we're so high tech now." And I said, "Well, why?" "Well, we have neon." "Oh, you got fucking neon in the draft room. We don't need any scouts. We got neon." Christopher, what's up? Saying, "Hey, Tim, everyone in the chat. I like Wink. We just didn't have all the pieces he needed on our defense. Another linebacker, another defensive end, another defensive tackle, and another shutdown corner. And we had last year. We would have been passed." Yeah, you're right. Wink's defense is predicated on having excellent corners. He had 2 Pro Bowl corners and a Pro Bowl safety his first 4 years in Baltimore. So, it's a little different. He didn't have the pieces. It's funny. He dialed back his style of defense too, which I find interesting. But at the end of the day, I mean, it just didn't work out. It's like a marriage. Sometimes they work out, I guess. Sometimes they don't. Michael says GM goes with Jones, he will get fired. He already went with Jones. This is what kills me about Joe Schoen. You signed him to this contract. You signed Daniel Jones, Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas. You tagged Barkley. So, I don't know what you're going to do with McKinney. But literally, you are bringing these guys, and I keep saying this over and over again. The minute that Shane signed Daniel Jones to that contract, Daniel Jones was no longer Dave Gettleman's quarterback. He was now Shane and Dable's quarterback. As soon as that ink dried. So no longer can you blame Gettleman for Daniel Jones, because there was an opportunity to move on from Daniel Jones. There was an opportunity to save the salary cap for 2024 and 2025. There was a big opportunity. And there was people out there like Minshew and Baker Mayfield and a few other people that you could have brought in. And you proved you could win games with Tyrod Taylor and Danny DeVito. Yes, I still call him Danny DeVito. You proved that. And your $160 million man went 1-4. So you proved you could win without this guy. Imagine the cap space that we would have this year if we did not have Daniel Jones under contract. I mean, think about that for a second. How much more space we would have last year, this year, and the following year. And I said the biggest issue right now is you potentially may have to renegotiate parts of Daniel Jones's contract. I keep running the cap numbers, guys. Like I said, I said before we even broke camp that we were going to run out of money by midseason, salary cap wise. And we haven't even made moves yet. And I'm still looking at all these contracts. And you're top heavy with 4 guys. We've talked about this. You're top heavy with 4 guys. And the biggest albatross of a contract is that contract at the top. Now, most people are going to sit there and tell you, well, it was only a 2-year deal. No, it's not a 2-year deal. Because of the fact that you had last year, this year, and you have still 20 plus in year 3. And if you don't draft a quarterback this year and you get rid of Daniel Jones next year, you're still another year behind finding your franchise quarterback. I said it the day they signed that contract that this would set the team back at least 4 years. At least minimum 4 years. And I basically said it's either going to be because of injury or poor play. It happened to be for both. Happened to be both for Daniel Jones. He nailed the trifecta. Well, he nailed 2. But he nailed.
That's what she said.
But I mean, that's what it is. And so if you don't grab a quarterback this year and DJ flames out again, which most people think he's going to, do you really think that next year's crop of quarterbacks is going to be better than this year's class right now to find your franchise guy? I'm going to tell you no. The way it's looked like and it's panning out, no, it's not going to be better than this class. So this is your opportunity to find something. And like I said, you are still sitting there with this albatross of a deal around your neck. I think we're going to be worse this year than we were last year. Look at the roster, look at the talent, look at the cap. There's still a lot of problems. And we did a video about there's not a lot in the cupboard. Let's see. Penix looked good today, and a lot of the linemen look good. Yeah, I saw that. Chris says, "What's up, Chris? Good evening, Tim. Per reports, Penix looks good today. Nick's not so much. Granted, it's only day 1. Yeah, it's only day 1. It's day 1, and honestly, I take more stock in the game than I do with the interviews and against the All Pads team. I mean, the All Shorts team, because Daniel Jones looked great against the All Shorts team. I was a little concerned about the answers that Knicks gave during the Q&A session, so I think that's something to look out for. Well, I mean, I'm not a big believer in the Wonderlic test, but it is interesting that it has been the Wonderlic at times has been a precursor to what a quarterback can be. I actually years ago, just as a joke, I actually took the Wonderlic test. I'm not gonna tell you what I got, but I actually took the Wonderlic test, and it's not what you think it is. Oh, gee, he says, "What's up, Tim? If Joe Schoen doesn't draft a quarterback, him and Brian Daboll only have 2 years top. If they don't draft a quarterback this year, and they have another season like they had last year, there's not going to be a 2025. The Giants are not going to stay around with a guy that, like I said, let's just say they win 5 games again. Let's just say they win 5 games or 6 games. Let's say they win. Well, they're going to have 11 wins in 2 years and not get both these guys fired because of the fact that they did not call. The biggest issue the Giants are having right now is the same issue they had under Judge, same issue they had under Shermer, and the same issue they had the last couple seasons under with McAdoo and Coughlin, was the fact that they're not cultivating talent. You're bringing talent in, but you're not cultivating it. I keep saying this all the time that, some Giant fans want to go with the offensive line talent we have on the roster right now. We've done that for years and it doesn't work out. Maybe we're just not coaching them up. I don't know. Joe says Williams or Daniels, anything else is settling. I agree. How is your new resolution going? Mike says, Admiral Matemo. Mike, my New Year's resolution is going good. Considering the contract, Jones will not get, considering the contract, Jones will not get fired. No, Jones can't get fired. He's he can only get cut. Curious if we haven't hired a D coordinator. What's up with that? You know what? This D coordinator thing is just kind of, they said they're going to hire one this week. Shane came out in the interview and said we will be hiring a defensive coordinator this week. Please don't be another assistant with no DC experience, please. I know people are high up on the couple of the cornerback coaches. Just no more. I cannot take another year or 2 of a defensive or a coordinator with 0 experience who is going to have to learn on the job. We did that with Kafka now for 2 years, and it has not worked out. I do not want another defensive coordinator. I do not want a defensive coordinator with 0 experience. Now, the reason why they're bringing in these guys with no experience is because of the fact that this way no one's going to challenge Dable. 100%. Nobody's going to challenge. These guys are not going to challenge Dable. Wink could challenge Dable. These guys aren't going to do it. You bring in a guy with no experience, they're not going to challenge Dable. They're not going to say boo. And that worries me. The Giants defense used to have this cachet. We used to bring in guys that created defenses. Now we're bringing in coordinators not even coordinators, we're bringing in coaches that we cross our fingers and hope that they're going to be something. Let's see. Jeff Newman. What's up, Jeff? Mr. Fitness says, salute. Tim is in his house. OG says, it's more on Joe Schoen and Mara because Brian Dable knew Daniel Jones was trash. Here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I guarantee you, Shane and Mara went to Dable and said, can you work with Daniel Jones? Can you fix him? Because he wanted a head coaching job and because he wants to stay in the league, he said yes. Parcells did the same thing in 1983. He went 3-12-1. I always talk about the 83 season. He went 3-12-1. Speculation ran rampant that he was going to get fired before the 94 season, that he was gone. And he met with Wellington Mara and he met with George Young, and they said, okay, we're going to give you another season. And one of the things that Parcells always talks about in interviews in his book was he was going to go do things his way. He let too many people influence him to what he should have done, that really screwed him up. And if he was going to get fired, he was going to get fired swinging and go doing it his way. Does Dable have the je ne sais quoi to go and do that? No, probably not. Does he have the cachet to do it? Well, no, probably not. But I think he just needs to sit there and say, you know what, I got to do it my way. And the problem is his way right now is he doesn't want to be challenged because we've already seen that a lot of times he will be truculent with the media and everyone else. Mr. Fitness says Gardner Minshew made the Pro Bowl. He had 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 3,000 plus yards. Hey, listen, I would take the porn stash for a year or two while we groomed a guy. Mr. Alvaro says, hey, Tim, do you think the Giants will trade back of any of their picks to get more players in the draft? The cupboard is bare, guys. we've looked at this roster. We did a breakdown. I did an entire breakdown of the roster and the salary cap. Don't forget to like. I did an entire breakdown of the roster and the salary cap. And we broke down the 38 guys that would probably be considered, not locks, but guys that would be on the roster. And we came up with 10 out of the 38 that looked like they might be, and some of the guys were questionables, and one of them was Graham Gano. You need 22 guys, plus a kicker, plus a punter. And guys play special teams, everything else, and backups. Yep, but it's not a 2-year contract. Tommy Tusack says, T. Higgins, money without DJ's contract. Yeah, you could actually do things if you did not have this boat anchor of a contract. They always say you need to win in the first 5. I mean, if you draft a rookie quarterback in the top 10, you need to win in the first 4 years. Because if you don't, it's going to become an albatross of a contract if the guy doesn't pan out. We're going to be in year 6. He's going to be 27. I got my season ticket invoice. It's still sitting on my desk. I'm like, well, really? Do I really want to go through this drama again? Can I really sit through year 6 of Daniel Jones? Captain Matumbo says Knicks could use Obi Toppin right now. They got Jacob Toppin. Now, Obi Toppin was a comet the first couple weeks for the Pacers. He's coming off the bench. He can't play defense. Oh dear. They found out quickly in Indiana he cannot play defense. And his defense has literally gotten worse. I go back to the play-in game against the Celtics. And this is when he was cruising a little bit with his points. And he didn't even, because I watched the game, he didn't even play in the entire fourth quarter. And that's a game that the Pacers won. Yeah, I don't need Obi Toppin back. If Mara mandates that Jones was our guy, did Shane really have a choice? Yes. You are the general manager of the team. You are supposed to be doing what is best for the team. The question is, did Shane have the balls to say no? Well, I'm going to say no, he didn't. Never fear, OGR is here. What's up, Tim? What's up, chat? Mr. Alvarez says they better not wait until year 4 of his contract to get rid of Jones because his cap hit in year 4 of the contract's $35 million. It's just a bad contract. I have said it a million times. Don't piss down my leg and tell me it's raining because this is a bad contract. You take a look at the Jalen Hurts contract. The Jalen Hurts contract, I think the first 6 years of that deal were less than the first 3 of Daniel Jones in reference to salary and implications to the salary cap. Joe Rev, what's up, Tim? What's going to happen if Jones has to retire due to injury? The entire contract's not waived. I don't remember what the injury percentage is, but it would only really be effective in year 1 of that deal. I can look up those numbers for you. Christopher says, I think Mara didn't want to move on from Jones, although it showed DJ wasn't the number 1. You might be right. I don't think he did want to move on, but the problem is this: you can't keep making the same mistakes over and over again. You got to make new mistakes. Make a different mistake. Go take Sam Hartman. Take Penix. Make a mistake. If you're going to make a mistake, do something different. We've been watching the same mistake now for 5 years. I like to do something with people. Yes, and that's screw with them as well. Because and I find this interesting. You have so many what I like to refer to as giant company men. And these are giant company men. These are people like Phil Simms and Tiki Barber and Carl Banks and all these people that if all they want to do is talk about Daniel Jones and how well he's going to do and everything else. One of the things I like to do with people is I like to just give out statistics. And I like to tell people, listen, and I used to do this with Eli Manning. I say, let's say you have a quarterback that you took in the top 10. And after year 5, he had 12,000 yards, 62 touchdowns, and 40 interceptions. Only completed 64% of his passes, and he had a win-loss record of 22, 36, and 1. And he's missed multiple games with injuries. And he only played in 12 games in 19, 14, and 20, 11 and 21. He did play all 16 in 2022, and he only played in 6 in 2023. Would you consider that quarterback a success, and would you sign him to a different contract? Everyone always says no. That's like we had T-Brad on the other day. And T-Brad, I asked T-Brad, because he was saying that Trevor Lawrence was not a no, I'm making fun of you, T-Brad, but he said Trevor Lawrence is not a is not a transcendental talent. He wasn't that talent that he expected to be. And I said to T-Brad, I said, hey, listen, I'm going to give you some stats. And I gave him Trevor Lawrence's stats. And I said, would you be happy with this person as your starting quarterback? And do you think you can win a Super Bowl with him? And he said, yes. And I was like, well, that's Trevor Lawrence. So the question is always, if you take away the name of Daniel Jones, if you don't have Daniel Jones's name, and you turn around and look at him statistically and what he's done so far in the league, can you really sit there and say that this is our guy? No, you can't. You would laugh if this was the Eagles quarterback. You would laugh and say, they got to get rid of that guy. Oh, we got T-Brad in this house. Tim, what's up, good people? What's up, Tim? Hit the like button. Hey, Timmy, where's my theme music, brother? You know where it is. It's always the witching hour with the T-Brad, coming to you live on Online Big Blue Sports Entertainment. The best in talk, chat, and everything else. Sit back and relax while we bring you the melodious sounds of Online Big Blue Sports. There you go, T-Brad. Question, says Patrick. If they cut Daniel Jones at the end of next season, is there a cap hit in 2025? Yes, it's over $20 million. It's around 23.5 million. So yes, there's a cap hit. And this is what I keep trying to explain to people with quarterbacks. And I always try to break down the salary cap, and when I do the salary cap, I learned this years ago. I always count positions as a bucket. And we did a video about this as a bucket. So the quarterback has a bucket. So let's say that Daniel Jones is no longer on the roster, but his $23 million cap hit is. Okay, well, that's still got to go in the quarterback bucket. And let's say you bring in, let's just say Tyrod Taylor for $10 million. Okay, so now your quarterback bucket has one guy, but now you have $33 million allocated to that bucket. Now let's say you draft a guy. So let's say you take him in the top 10. So now his salary is $8 million. So you now have $41 million allocated in the quarterback bucket with two guys because of the Daniel Jones' contract. T-Rad says, what's supposed to be the gimme my theme music? What's up, smart Giant fans? Hitting the like button makes you smarter. Hey, Mike, what's up? Mike Glenn's in his house saying they want to try and nail the pick because Wink was so good and beloved. The defense liked Wink. I mean, you can't fault. I mean, you can't. Dink. Wink is this guy. Wink is this guy that people loved because he was very flamboyant. He was very quotable. The media loved him. Kevin says, I don't think Dable ever wants DJ. Every time he asks a question, DJ always looks depressed, and he talked to him like the other quarterbacks. I always love that. It's true. Because he talks about Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a great quarterback. He makes you better as a play caller. And then someone goes, so Mr. Dable, what about Daniel Jones? Also with Josh Allen, you have to remember that his talent transcends everything else. Yes, but how about Daniel Jones? He's our quarterback. Yeah, that's what he does. Wink didn't challenge Dable. He tried to undermine it. Allegedly. We don't know. There's different stories left and right. Denard Wilson doesn't look like someone that will allow you to walk all over him. He is, it doesn't. Yeah, here's the problem. You don't know this. He's a first-time coordinator. He is going to be on a short leash because of the fact that Dable needs to win. So more than likely what's going to happen is you are going to bring in a guy that has NFL experience to shadow him. And honestly, if that's the case, why doesn't he just stay with the Ravens? If he's so wonderful, I'm sorry. I can't, man. I can't today. I can't. OGR says the Giants front office is made of a bunch of yes men because no one dares challenge Mara. Mara is basically Thanos. Well, that would be from the X-Men series. Or I don't know. I know Thanos is, we've seen one of those movies. I don't know. Guilty says, how Kappa still has a job is baffling. The special team coordinator hire is baffling. I hope that the DC wouldn't be baffling. It's going to be baffling. It's going to be a defensive back coach with no experience as a coordinator, as a defense coordinator. Not even experience in college. Not even an assistant defensive coordinator title anywhere. Remember back in the day, not too long ago, we brought in a coach, and he was never a coordinator, and he was never anything above a special teams coach. Belichick gave them the title of wide receivers coach and everything else just so he could have a better title, but he was never anything above that besides just being a special teams guy. We brought him in as a head coach. I'm like, I keep forgetting. How did that work out? Let's see. More Giants and New York Giants. Please, I disagree with that. I think it's just his personal issues with Dable, not anything outside of that. I don't know. Nobody knows. Let's see. T-Brad says, those are always seems to be confusing. Sports Track is a good site to lay it out. Good job, T-Brad. T-Brad says, Daniel's career is much like a scary movie, real scary to watch. Yeah, you're not a big fan of Jaden Daniels. Oh, let's see. Patrick says, is OBJ coming home? Well, maybe for a visit. He's not coming home to the Giants. Zach Attack says, what do you think Belichick for saying stay far, far away from the Giants? Belichick's been talking shit about the Giants for years, and he started talking more about with the whole Joe Judge fiasco. When he left for Cleveland in 91, Belichick, Parcells was still the coach. And it wasn't until the big issue that Parcells had with Mara, with Wellington, that Parcells decided to just basically retire. And there was always talk about making like Belichick the coach in waiting. But there was talk with inside the Giant organization that was never going to happen because he went to Cleveland at the time. He was the youngest head coach in the league, and the Maras didn't like that. Mara didn't like that. So I mean, he's got a little animosity towards the Giants. So I mean, if they did everything that they could to ruin Daniel Jones' career, does that mean they did everything they could to ruin Saquon Barkley's career too? No, T-Brad, of course not. What is wrong with T-Brad? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Two different things. Daniel Jones didn't have an offensive line. Daniel Jones didn't get the protection or the running lanes that he needed to succeed. Totally different for a running back. You don't need an offensive line. You don't need to have them open the holes. You don't need any of those things. Sublight says, what's the position we really need that's not so obvious or Nooney's talking about? Right off the bat, you need another corner. Here's the problem. If you want a position that nobody's talking about, you need a defensive end. You need a true pass rushing stud defensive end that understands his containment and understands his assignment and understands how to play the run. Because if you're going to pair him on the other side with Kayvon Thibodeau is undersized. He's going to be overmatched again at times because I think they're going to keep Kayvon more as a down lineman. You need a true pass rushing defensive end. I'm sorry, guys. Kayvon had 7 sacks in 3 games. Okay. And then the other 14, how many sacks did he have? 4.5? Daryl says, what's up, Tim? Not much. And the chat looks like the staff is down in Balma for the Senior Bowl. Penix or Nix? I still like Penix. I mean, I'm not going to go away from Penix. But if I have a choice, I want Caleb Williams. I'm good with McKinney leaving. Can't pay him something like $12 million. Value isn't there. Here's the problem. Actually, the value for McKinney at $12 million would be there. We did a video yesterday, and I've been using the frame operational cap space since 2003. I got a new phrase. It's talent equals contract value. And the talent should match the value of the contract. I try to explain to a moron in the chat that not this chat, but a different chat. When we signed Bobby Okereke, we overpaid for Bobby Okereke because we're a bad team. Bad teams need to put in more money to get better talent. So their contract value, what doesn't look that great. If you take a look at the market for an off the ball linebacker, we overpaid Bobby by $5 million. Anyplace else, he wasn't going to get this cash. That's why he came here, because he got more money, but it doesn't equate to talent, does not equal contract value, because how many games did we win? How many times did we give up 30 plus defensively? So the value for the the contract value for an off the ball linebacker was too great for what we needed him for. And the production was there, but the win totals were not. It's not like the fact that we would have won any less games if Bobby Okereke wasn't there. So the value for McKinney played 100% of every snap. He had one of the highest pass defensive ratings, and he plays well against the run, and he never leaves the field. And he can also fill in a quasi linebacker position. Now, there's talk that Isaiah Simmons wants. People are thinking he's going to be worth like $18 million a year, which is crazy because the contract value does not equal the talent. Now, for like a normal team, for like a team that's going to be in the playoffs. For the Giants, it might, because you're going to have to overpay to bring people in. So your contract value is going to be higher than the talent level. It's the Monty Hall problem. Always pick the other door to increase your chances. Joe, let's see, OBJ is done. That would be that would be a giant move. That really would be a giant move. Oh my goodness. That was dope. That was dope, T-Brad. You got some dope music to you. Let's see here. Unpopular opinion. I don't believe I don't believe Dave went for Herbert to Jones. Just looking at DJ is affiliated with and the second contract. I don't understand what you're talking about. Let's see. Christopher says, so tell me the damn truth. No one DC that has ever made a name for himself will ever come here because Dable is scared they will take his job. Winks. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you. No defensive coordinator with any chops is going to come to New York because they don't want to deal with Dable. They don't want to deal with the bullshit. They don't want to deal. We're going to rephrase it and call it the Dable shit. They don't want to deal with that. You saw some of the things on the sidelines. You saw some of the things. You hear some of the other things. They are going to bring in a guy that's going to be a yes man. And I don't mean if they would have brought in Leslie Frazier, who took a year off, then I would have been like, okay, at least Leslie has the chops as a defensive coordinator. We did this before. We talked about Leslie Frazier before. His career really spans the 2 years in Buffalo, and him getting fired in Tampa, Minnesota, and getting fired by his mentor by Marvin Lewis with the Bengals. But it would make more sense. Happy birthday, T-Brad. It's T-Brad, is your birthday? T-Brad, is it your birthday? Happy birthday to T-Brad. Where did I miss that it's T-Brad's birthday? Where did I miss this? Happy birthday, T-Brad. Well, happy birthday, T-Brad then. Johnny ABA says, DJ's a wolf in sheep clothing when it comes to making money. He knew exactly what he was doing. Getting Saquon to hold out like he did. He's not a team guy. I don't know if Dan Jones is not a team guy. I can't say that. I cannot literally say if he's a team guy or not, but I can say this. Yes, there was I do think there's animosity in the locker room in reference to the contract. Happy birthday to T-Brad. Let's see here. Belichick bamboozled Mara for the judge hire. He told him he was a special because he's a special teams coach. Ouch. Oh, that was good. That was really good. Mr. Alva says that's why this year we'll need to pluck people from the freaking UFL. Yes, they did combine, they merged to fill out our roster because the Giants don't have any money after overpaying so many players. What's up, my brother? Everything's good. How are you doing? It's just it's just weird that you would think going into year 3 we would have a better understanding for the Giants. And I'm not trying to be rude, that we would have a better understanding in reference to everything that the nuttiness that we figured the nuttiness would be gone in year 3, but it's not that it is kind of nutty. I don't know how else to explain it. Someone's texted me. Hold on. I don't know. What do we else we got here? I feel like Russell Wilson will be going to well, if Dan Schneider was still 100% in charge of everything, I think Russell Wilson would be going there. I mean, I think that would be kind of funny if they did. But I don't see it. I mean, it's just weird. I was hoping, like I said, we would have gotten through all this. I was hoping that we would have turned the corner and we would have moved into a different direction and we would not be sitting where we are right now. But we are. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Mike Glenn says best, the team has no identity. What is this team's identity? Out of curiosity, what is this? What do people think this team's identity is? That's what I'm curious about, because we're not a defensive team. You can't give up 40 points a couple times, 30-something points a couple times. We're not a defensive team. We're not an offensive team. Our best player, Graham Gano, was hurt, so we're not a special teams team. We're not a special teams guy. 86 Giants. Defense, ball control. 90 Giants. Defense, ball control. 2,000 Giants, even though we lost. A higher power offense and still play good defense. 2007, the identity was still defense and the running game with a mixture of Eli Manning. Same thing with 2009. We had an identity between those years. But we to Mike's point, we kind of seem lost. And we have to kind of get back to something. And I don't know what we're going to do to get back to it, but we need to get back to something. Sublight says this whole organization needs to toughen up. The way we started in 2023 was pathetic, totally unprepared. I was worried about the start of 2023 before we even, I think we did a live stream about it, before we even, not my birthday, people. I don't know why people keep saying it's your birthday. It's my party and I'll rhyme if I want to. I was worried that when Shane and Dable both sat there and said, we don't know what this team is. We don't know what we won't know what we are for like 4 weeks into the season. You had 3 preseason games. You had an entire summer training camp. How do you not know what your team is? The red flags just flew up in the air with me when I heard that shit. It's like, how do you not know? How do you not know? Joe Rev says, didn't Shane say something the line that the Giants aren't bargain basement hunting anymore? Oh, I remember that last year. And I kept saying to people, we are going to run out of money by midseason. I kept saying to Joe Rev, we're not going to have any cash by week 9, which is why we traded
King of the almost sack.
And I love it when it came out, the spin they tried to put on. Well, we gave Leonard the choice. It's about he could stay or he could go, but we gave him the choice. No, you didn't give him the fucking choice. If you didn't trade Leonard Williams or another player, you would not have enough salary cap money to sign a quarterback. You wouldn't have any salary cap money to make any moves. You would be fielding 51 guys unless you made that trade. I'm tired of the spin. Just want to fucking win, man. I just want to win. Looks like the G-Man is going to get a quarterback this year. I have my fingers crossed. I have my fingers crossed. I really do. I really do. So what do you think the draft? What do you think they draft or free agency for a quarterback? If you're smart, you draft a quarterback because that resets your clock. You get another 3 years. You get another 2 or 3 years because you need to build your quarterback up. You need to get your franchise quarterback. As long as your quarterback shows a progression, you're good. And then you have a guy in place. But then here's the problem: is you draft quarterback here, the quarterback clock starts. And I don't think we have the talent right now to take a quarterback in the first round and have that clock start now. Because I don't think we're going to be good for another 3-4 years. What is this? Did you ever try out for a professional league? Yeah, actually, yes. Back in 91, it was just towards the end again out of school, and I was coming off my last knee surgery. there was a league called the World Football League, World League of American Football. It was a WLAF, and it turned into your NFL Europe. And the New Jersey, New York team had a team called the Knights. It was weird because it was a New Jersey, New York night thing, and they actually held open tryouts at one point in time. And it wasn't really open tryouts. You needed to be invited, and they contacted a lot of different coaches, and they invited some people in, and I was one of the people that got invited in to try out for the WLAF. But my knee at that point in time still wasn't it wasn't ready to do anything, because it was only like 7. It was because the league began play on March I think it was March March of 91. I think it was like the 21st of 91. So I wasn't healthy. So I got invited, but I never got to try out. Hey, Michael, what's going on, my brother? Mr. Alvarez says it's sad the Giants shot themselves in the foot again. Bad contracts again. They have a bad team while the other NFL teams keeps improving. They need to go to Howie Roseman. They really do. They need to go to Howie Roseman and figure out how the hell he does what he does. Because I mean, that's what kills me with him. They got to figure out how he does it. Because his salary cap is a work of art, and our salary cap is not. I mean, if we're going to be 100% honest, right now, you know what's crazy? You know what's insane? Right now in 2024, the Philadelphia Eagles have over $20 million in cap space. They only have $4 million in dead cap. And they still, and I mean, it's insane to me that if you look at the way, I mean, right now, Hassan Reddick is their biggest cap hit at $21 million. And Jalen Hurts is not, he is number 4 on the list at $13 million. Yeah, he's got a dead cap number of 104, but they're not getting rid of him. And I love it because Howie Roseman, Jalen Hurts came when it was negotiating the contract, because I know someone that knows someone that knows someone in Philadelphia that knows somebody. And then he used to play golf with John Mara. Jalen Hurts' team, wanted a no trade clause in his contract. Howie Roseman said, sure, okay. Because no one's going to take $100 million dead cap hit for a quarterback. You weren't going to trade him anyway. So if you want no trade clause? I'm going to trade clause. Oh, make sure you hit the like button, please. This team identity is losers. Well, I hope not. Zach Attack says, did the Lions collapse worse than the Cowboys or on the wild card weekend? You kicked the field goal. I mean, you kicked the fucking field goal. Let's see. Didn't the previous regime said the same thing, but instead called it an extended preseason? Oh, yes, they did. I forgot about that. I love Joe Rev. Happy birthday, T-Brad. Just wanted to join the club. Happy birthday to T-Brad. I was worried about the team being prepared after the Carolina preseason game when the Giants scored on that one drive that pulled the starters. I was at that game. I think and OGR was there, and some other people were there with me. They scored on the first drive. And they pulled and that was the play that I cringed, because it was the first time we saw Daniel Jones throw Darren Waller into contact. And I remember the pass because Waller dropped it. And I remember the pass. And I think I was talking to OGR about it. And I even said, if he keeps doing that, he's going to get Waller killed. And little do we know that again is the theme of the series. I mean, the theme of everything. It's Jameis time. I like Jameis Winston. If Jameis wanted to come in for like $6.5-7 million, I'd take Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is also, like I said, one of those guys that has the experience as a starting quarterback. He set a record, like we've talked about it before. He set a record in that last year in Tampa. Never throwing a ball out of bounds. He threw the ball, I think, like 600 times that year. It's crazy. And he never threw the ball out of bounds once. And he threw 33 touchdowns. He threw 626 times. He threw for 5,109 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 30 interceptions, and he never threw the ball out of bounds. I mean, that literally is insanity at its finest. And this is also a guy that his first 2 years in the league threw for over 4,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 28 touchdowns. He's always going to be an interception guy. And so is Eli Manning. I mean, I laugh. He's 34 and 46, thrown for over 22,000 yards, 140 touchdowns, and 99 interceptions in 9 years in the league. I mean, he's a guy that he played well in 21 when he was 5-2. He threw 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You want to saddle up Jameis Winston for a year? Saddle me up. Let's ride him, cowboy. Why not? Kevin says, I hate it when the Giants got guys that are not going to resign and they don't trade them and we get nothing. You go all the way back into that with Landon Collins. Antonio says, amazing how the Giants have been this mediocre so long. Tim, we all know John Mara. Tim, can you please go to him and say you are not the GM, you're the owner. Let the GM, and let your head coach coach. First of all, I don't think. First of all, I don't think you would take my call. And Bob Pop is still mad at me. I don't know why Bob Pop is mad at me. We at the Giant Town Hall when I asked Daniel Jones the question, Papa asked what my Twitter handle was, and I told him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I get into it with this guy on Twitter all the time." And then when I went to the rookie symposium, Bob Papa was at the end of the hall, and I was coming out of the bathroom as I was waving to Bob Papa, saying hi, and I said, "Hey, it's me." And he goes, "I remember you. I remember you from the town hall." And then I'm thinking to myself, Bob, I don't even follow you on Twitter. Yeah, so I don't think they. Hey, Roy's evidently out. Jay Sports Car says, "Hey Tim, do you think we will retain Kafka? I hope to God not. The biggest mistakes was giving DJ the contract. Dable and Shane are on thin ice. We took a giant step back. We're gonna take even a bigger step back. You take 2 steps forward, you take 1 step back. They say that because opposites they attract. You know." She's like I'm like a Porsche. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Mr. Weaver says Dan Campbell's only problem is he risked too much and is okay to change. Here's the thing with Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell has been doing that all season. You cannot then all of a sudden go into the playoffs and all of a sudden change who you are. And that's what he did. He didn't change who he was. He went in there. He did what he would normally do. And just kind of went from there. Listen, I always liked Dan Campbell, of course, because he was a Giant. You know, and I didn't like it that twice. Well, no, he what I didn't like about Dan Campbell was he wore 89 from 2020 to 2022. I mean 2002. Sorry, that's the reason why I don't like Dan Campbell. Michael says, I'm going to try out for the Giants. I'm going to try to get some cash and stay here playing the scrubs. Hey, listen, you give me $100,000. I'll try out. Let's see here. T-Rad said, this may be the lowest the franchise has been for such a long period of time. I always go back to the Giants in the 70s. And I always go back because that was the doldrums. They were bad. From if you think about it, they were bad. If you go, if you go back from 66, the Giants won 1 game in 66, and then they had 2 seasons in a row where they were 7-7. And then what happened was they had a 9-5 season under Alex Webster in 1970. And then for the rest of the 70s, they went 4 wins, 8 wins, 2 wins, 2 wins, 5 wins, 3 wins, 5 wins, 6 wins, 6 wins. And then in 1980, they had 4 wins, and then they had the 9-7 season under Ray Perkins. So technically, they had been kind of bad from 1966 with 2 winning seasons combined going into the 81 season. And then they had 2 more bad seasons before they had the Renaissance in 84. So if you take a look at the way we are now, I mean, we've technically been, let's take a look at this. Let me pull up the numbers here. Let's see here. We have been bad. Let's see here. We have been bad since, I would say, since 13. And then two seasons in between. So that's 13. So let's see, 13, 14. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 seasons. 2 good seasons out of 11. And going back to the 66, going up to 80. Yeah. So no, we're not there yet. We're getting there. We're not there yet. We haven't reached the 66-81 gap. We haven't reached that yet, but we're getting there. Let's see. Our capologist has been terrible for a while. He really has. He really has. They invited you to try out for Waterboy. No, they invited me to try out for free safety. But my leg was still in a brace, so nothing was going to happen. I just thought it was nice that I got an invite. J Sports Card says you better get a quarterback we will need, or we will never improve. That's your point. You just summed it right up. Don't forget the leg, but if you don't get a quarterback, you're never going to get better. That's the thing. T-Brad says, don't be critical of Daniel Jones. Nothing is ever his fault. Ever, like, seriously, never. Nothing. That's the other thing. Nothing's ever Daniel Jones's fault. He throws an interception. It was not DJ's fault. The offensive line didn't hold up. He fumbles. Well, he didn't. The offensive line didn't hold up. He throws an interception. Well, the wide receiver should have got it. Roy says, we played Carolina this year in Charlotte. I'm going to choose not to attend Go Giants. Well, Roy, you're very smart. I agree with you. Tim, what's going on? What's going on, Kevin? Not much. Let's see. Daniel Jones hospital passes. I like that. Mike says interceptions are overrated. I want my quarterback to take chances, work the middle of the field, and stretch the defense. That's what happened with Eli Manning and Kevin Gilbride. That's what Kevin Gilbert did to Eli Manning. He made him a gunslinger, and then the doo-doo came in for this 2 years as a coordinator, and he made him a West Coast guy. It's just Jameis Winston just doesn't understand some of the nuances of the game, and he throws dumb interceptions. There was a game in Tampa, the last year he started in Tampa. I can't remember who they played, and they lost the game like 45-38, and there was like 7 interceptions in that game. It was great. I'll sign up for some crab legs. Yeah, all right, where we go. Look at that. We're cheap in here. Alex says, do you think Tyrod is coming? I don't think Tyrod's coming back. I really don't. Davey says, I also want Sinbad and Kathy Ireland. Still have a crush on her for necessary roughness. Andre Grimes. Is Andre Grimes or Grim? I can't remember Andre. I know his name was Andre in the movie. Well, hell, you know what? Why don't we just go out and get the quarterback? Why don't Paul Blake? Why don't we sign up Paul Blake? Why not? Andre had 2 years of 1 year of eligibility left after the Texas team got the death sentence. Davey said you take 2 steps forward, you take 2 steps back. That's how opposites track. You do the hokey pokey and shake it all around. Michael, let's see. What are your thoughts on signing Sam? No. There are my thoughts. Don't even need to go to the rest. No, not doing it. Not doing it. I'd rather take Zach Wilson. Please save us for the love story of the Chiefs. Oh, God, I don't want to deal with the Chiefs either. 89 and 19 are bad numbers for the Giants. Yeah, I don't like when people are 89. I really don't. Let's see. John Mario is like a behind-the-scenes Jerry Jones. Steinbrenner can't keep his hands out of the cooking pot. Steinbrenner got smart, though. He got smart. He put a GM in place and kind of just left everything alone, and he won a bunch of championships. Will the Mariners do that? I don't think so. My dream is to sign a 5-year guaranteed contract and be a bust for the Giants. Well, you'd be called Daniel Jones. At least we don't have Tony on the team anymore. That's a positive. Think about that. I don't think about that. Joey G says, why do I feel like the Giants are okay with being bad, just a new coach and repeat? I don't think you could ever be okay with being bad. The problem is you got the revenue sharing from the TV contract. So you're always going to make money, but you want to win. You always want to win. At least I hope to God you would want to win. Don't you think you would want to win? Just in my opinion. Knicks right now, we're losing to the Jazz 15-11. Poor New York Knicks are shorthanded once again. Let's see. Is OG playing? Is OG playing? Let's see here. Is he playing? I don't think he's playing. Yeah, he is. No, I don't think he's playing. He hasn't played. Nope, he's not playing. Yeah, the Knicks are in trouble. They have to hold serve until Randall gets back. And I did a video about it. You got to hit at least 500. Tim, do you remember the Men in Black about DJ? Oh yeah, I got the Men in Black. Hold on. You know what? That's what we need to do. That is literally need to do. That's what we need to do this is what we need to have done for the last 5 years with Daniel Jones. Who are we going to draft at 19? Maybe that Josh Allen guy. They had 16.5 sacks.
This is called a neuralizer. It's a gift from some friends from out of town. This red eye here will isolate the electronic impulses in your brains, more specifically the ones for memory.
There you go, guys. Joey G says, how dare you fail Daniel Jones? That's Eli Manning's boy. I'm tired of the giant company, man. I really am. I'm really getting tired of it. There, you have all the good. You have Eli Manning, Phil Simms, Carl Banks, Tiki Barber, Howard Cross. We're all good company men. We've said it. We've said it before.
We like Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. He is misunderstood. Nobody could succeed behind these lines and these wide receivers, even though we won 5 games with Tyrod Taylor and Darren DeVito. Mars needs women.
Let's see here. Joey G says, if anyone actually is excited to see Daniela Jones take another step for the Giants, not even their own players get excited about it. I love it because Tyrod Taylor won that one game. And you looked at Deontay Banks, and Deontay Banks was staring at him with such reverence. Tyrod Taylor, like he was so excited. And they showed the picture, and the Giants had it on their Twitter, and they took it down. But he was almost like he was drooling over Tyrod Taylor. Like, this is a quarterback, guys. This is a guy we could play. This is a guy who can win us games. This is a fucking quarterback. Now the Chiefs' love story reigns. The suffering is too good. If Washington drafts quarterback, you think Howell could be had? I think he has some talent. I think Sam Howell has some talent, but I don't want Sam Howell. I want a quarterback. We are dealing with the curse of Odell Beckham. We have to admit it. We do have to admit it. We have to admit it. There's the boat curse. There's the Odell Beckham curse. We got a lot of curses. I curse a lot when I watch the Giants. Time to bring back Perry Fuel for the defensive coordinator. Why not? Well, no, because he might have an opinion. You're not allowed to have an opinion in Giant land. You can't have an opinion in the Giants' defensive, offensive rooms. No. And then if the stories, this is what gets me. Because people are like, well, no, if we hire Denard Wilson, he's going to be his own man. He's going to have his own voice. He's going to do all these things. Oh, really? Because if the stories are true that Dable not only took away the play calling duties from Kafka, he gave them to the quarterback coach, and then he called some of the plays himself. What's up, Big Tim? Still live on OBJ, coming back home. No, he's not coming back home. DJ said he is not joining the dark side.
You need to come to the dark side, JJ. Come to the dark side.
Dark side call now, nothing is real. She'll never know just how I feel. And out of the shadow, she walks like a dream. DJ speaks with less emotion than your Battlestar Galactica voice.
Your commands.
Tim's already turned down. OG is going into Dang. Let's see. T-Bird says, I'm very confident that I will renew my same season tickets for next year. You don't have them. Llewell Dang. What about Llewell Dang? The Ravens went on to the boat trip and they did go on a boat trip. Glenn says, Big Tim, what's up? Still on the live. OBJ coming back home. I can't, man. He's washed up. OBJ's washed up. I mean, he's had too many surgeries. He's not the guy he was. These reunions never work. I mean, I would love to, 35 receptions, 565 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, I'm not trying. I love OBJ. I mean, like I said, when OBJ was here, I loved OBJ. I loved OBJ. Never had a problem with OBJ. You got a guy that, for his career, out of the 5 seasons here, 4 of them were over 1,000 yards, except for the one that he got hurt. And he blamed Eli Manning for throwing him into contact. But as a guy that had 12 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, I mean, he was a great Giant. I mean, he was great. He was literally he was the new version, the 2020 version of Homer Jones. I mean, he was that explosive. But he's just that's just the problem. Let's see. Mara had appointed Dable as his apprentice. Opinions are bad, Tim. Opinions are bad. I don't think opinions are bad. Miss Roberts says Eli Manning's company man BS is worse because he is goofy as his live stream, like his brother on the Manning cast. They get caught being so critical of Jones, but then we ask they should pay Jones. You know what I love about Carl Banks? I mean, Carl Banks to me, he has his.
What do you love about me, Tim?
Carl Banks will have these moments of clarity on a broadcast. He will have these moments of lucidity. And he will say something like Daniel Jones will do something stupid. And he'll call it out. And he'll say it. And then the game ends. And then on the on the post game and on Twitter and the spaces, he defends DJ ad nauseum even for the bad play. And points out the fact that, well, he probably threw that interception that Witherspoon took back to the house because of the fact that he had been getting he'd been getting hit all day. It's like, no, you said it right during the game. It's just the fact that after you said it, you had your oh shit moment. And you're like, well, now I got to go back and make something up. That's called being a company man. Tim, you're blurry. I'm blurry? I don't seem to be. I don't know. Okay. I don't think I'm that blurry. I'm looking at me on another monitor. Wash out your eyes. CJ Stroud failed his Wonderlic. Exactly. The Wonderlic means nothing. Donald Trump should buy the Giants. He tried to buy the Giants. You're blurry. I don't know if I'm blurry. I'm not that blurry. Let me see here. Let me see if I check it. Let me see here. I don't know how to do any of this. Let me kick it up to 720p. No, I'm pretty clear. Maybe if we go on another boat trip, we will reverse the time-space continuum. I don't think that we could go on another boat trip. and we I love that though, and we're going to reverse the time. Do we need the flux capacitor though? Does anyone know if the flux capacitor is still working? You want to know why? Because I'm actually looking for something here. It would have been great. It would have been great. It would have been great if I could find it. Oh my God. I can't find the Back to the Future button. I'm going to find it. Because everyone I don't know where the Back to the Future button. I have a Back to the Future button. Maybe if we go on another boat trip, that's right. I really want a quarterback who don't see around at all. Jeff White said, I subscribe for your intellectual honesty. Jeff, I don't want to break the news to you, but I'm a fucking moron. That's what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts about tagging and trading McKinney to Indy for Gardner Minshew? And Gardner Minshew is an unrestricted free agent, so you wouldn't have to trade him. And I wouldn't trade him just for Gardner Minshew. And you can't tag McKinney because McKinney would then wreck the cap unless you sign him in a long-term deal. I mean, listen, I want to bring McKinney back. I would bring McKinney back in a heartbeat over Isaiah Simmons. I mean, I wouldn't even think twice about that. I think that if you take, like I said, we talked about it earlier before. If you have a salary cap, think of your salary cap in each position as a bucket. And if you want to have the McKinney in the safety bucket and linebacker bucket, you can divide up that money between the two buckets, and that would make more sense to me, because let's just say you sign him for 12, you got 6, and he plays everything. He plays linebacker, he's going to play safety again. And he is a guy that was one of your best cover guys, and he played the runs, and he supported the run extremely well. So if it's me, yeah, I would bring McKinney back, but I'm not, if I'm doing that, I'm not trading him. And honestly, you wouldn't sign him. You would tag him have him sign the tag, and then try to work out a contract with Indy for to move him on. So you wouldn't have to sign him. Indy would have to sign him. Are there any free agent quarterback aside from Justin Fields that you would sign? Like I said, I would take Jameis Winston, and I would take the porn stash. I would literally take the porn stash because I like Gardner Minshew. I liked him in Jacksonville. How come I can't find the damn Back to the Future button? King Kong, mostly, Karate Man, Neuralizer, back in closers only. Wait, we got
put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Daniel Jones wishes he wants to be a closer. Hold on, I'm looking here. How did I lose the Back to the Future button? We had a power outage, and my whole soundboard, I lost all the presets. So now I have like something like 200. I have like 200, 200 sound effects, and I have none of them labeled to any of the presets. Now this is going to bug me because I can't find the Back to the Future button. What is
Next Saturday night.
There we go.
We're sending you back to the future.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Well, here we go. Sublight says maybe if we get back on another boat trip, we can reverse the time-space continuum and have good luck again.
Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future.
See how professional that would have been? T-Brad says, can a quarterback make an offensive line better? Asking for a friend. Yes. I know you're being facetious. Tim, I heard Mara is going to call the secret police for all the bad opinions on DJ. They might show up at your door at 2 a.m. My house is the wrong house to show up. I have a sign outside my house that it says trespassers will be shot. And underneath it says survivors will be shot again. So I loved it because I had a problem with another neighbor, and James Williams came to my house hanging out with his lovely fiance or girlfriend or exactly where. And it was funny though, because we were talking about the issue I had with the neighbor, and James goes, he goes, I love you, man. He goes, but let's see. He's like, you got a military grade vehicle in your driveway. You're not a small man, and you're wearing a shirt with an M16 on it, and you have this sign. She goes, do I think that's a neighbor that you should really be screwing with? That was like 10 minutes ago. I said, well, Zach, there is a private chat. You're supposed to send it to me again. Who are you watching at the Senior Bowl? I'm watching the quarterbacks. I want to see Penix. I want to see Hartman. And I want to see Bo Nix. I want to see the quarterbacks. I think every Giant fan should want to see the quarterback. Other than OGR, New Dable had a temperament issue, except for the Giants. Time to get him to grow up because his job is on the line. You're right. His job literally is on the line. He can't have these tantrums. You know, he can't. Wait, do I have that one? I don't think I saved that one. Hold on. Wait a minute. I got it. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. I got to shoot. No, I don't.
I don't have the energy.
Wait.
No.
There's
still some.
You know, it's funny. I had the scene. I had it queued up, and I don't know where it went. I had the scene from Any Given Sunday when Jim Brown is the defense coordinator. He's going crazy, and Lawrence Taylor looks at him and goes, "Calm down, coach. You're gonna have a stroke." And he's like, "I don't have strokes. I give them." I had that sound effect. The hat is blurry. Let me fix it for you. You know the deal, Joe. Giants draft a quarterback, you get the hat. They don't. You donate $100 to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. The Ravens went on the boat trip and lost. You're right. Kurt says no one in the house is going to speak critically of Mara Forever quarterback project, but him and Gellerman know the truth and know he's trash. They do know he's trash. I think they have to. How do you not see this? Tim is the smartest moron we got. I love that one. We're going to get to that. We drafted the MVP of the Senior Bowl. Remember, Gellerman? Yeah, I remember that. Like I said, we always take the MVP of the Senior Bowl. that was our modus operandi. Diet Guy says Tim is the smartest moron we got. Oh my God, I love the Giants. I know you do, Tim. They will make us feel bad, like with bad fans, because we question things. It's okay to question things.
I like to think. I like to read. I'm into freedom of speech and freedom of choice. I'm the kind of guy that just sit in a greasy spoon and wonder, gee, should I have the T-bone steak or the jumbo rack of barbecue ribs with the side order of gravy fries? I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon and butter and buckets of cheese, okay? I want to smoke a Cuban cigar the size of Cincinnati in the non-smoking section. I want to run through the streets naked with green jello all over my body reading Playboy magazine. Why? Because I suddenly might feel the need to, okay, pal? I've seen this. You know what it is? It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting around in his beige pajamas drinking a banana broccoli shake singing, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener.
And that sums it up. If you're one of the NFC East teams other than the Giants, you are praying the Giants hang on to Daniel Jones. Not sure why the Giants don't see this. I love when I talk to Philly fans, Washington fans, or or Cowboy fans, because none of them are they're not very smart, but they all know that you don't hold on to Daniel Jones, and they're all thanking me. The Back to the Future button is on the bottom of the boat ride. The boat trip was overblown. Well, you know what the thing is here? I thought that too. Until Odell Beckham came out and did that podcast a couple weeks back where he said that he dropped that touchdown and he dropped that other pass because of the negativity of the boat trip was bothering him. That worried me a little bit. What are your thoughts on Brock Bauer? I don't know Brock Bauer. Who is Brock Bauer? I think he's a good guy. Who is Brock Bauer? He's the tight end. He's a tight end over Georgia. I don't really think much of him. I don't think much about him. Davey says if Trump buys the Giants, he's going to sign Vince McMahon as the GM. I heard he's collecting unemployment. No, Davey, keep him away. Mr. Roberts says, I'm looking at Spanford as a tight end in the later rounds. We're going to need a tight end. Where's Johnny Wishbone? Where is Johnny Wishbone? Oh, he is a Georgia. See, I knew he was a Georgia tight end. It just took me a minute, guys. I'm tired. The dog is sleeping, but I'm not. They told OBJ the boat ride is a 3-hour tour. They said it was a 3-hour tour, and they never came back. Did you hear the recent news that Gelman would take phone calls for the number 2? He wouldn't take phone calls for the number 2 pick when we took Barkley. I did hear that. Do I think it's true? Probably. It's the Giant way. For the people that are not old timers, the Giants have had issues with doing stupid things in the draft going back to when was that draft? Going back to, I think it was the 75 draft. The Giants had the first overall pick, and they could have taken Randy White, but they traded the pick to the Cowboys in the Craig Morton deal. So the Cowboys got Randy White. So maybe he should have stayed away from the phone. Let's see. The Giants need to stay away from J.J. McCarthy and a tackle. Yes, they forward. I mean, I'm not against J.J. McCarthy. I mean, but like I said, I just don't see it. He didn't like impress me. He didn't impress me in the championship game. Everyone talks about how Penix's stock fell. How did McCarthy's stock go up? He did not complete a third or fourth down pass almost the end of the third quarter. They don't win that game without those 3 big running plays and the defense and their corners just shutting shit down. You could have put in Daniel Jones and you would have lost. Jay says, has anyone heard anything on Harry Carson's condition? Never hear from him. I think Harry Carson's fine. Is he sick? I don't think there's anything wrong with Harry Carson, is there? I got to look that up now. I love Harry Carson. Let's see here. He does a lot. He doesn't do a lot of stuff, Harry Carson. He used to do signings all the time. Let's see here. He would always do signings, especially in Jersey. No, he did open up a completely different build. Belichick that he knows. He did an article in the Post last month. Mr. Roberts says they told OBJ he couldn't take the kicker's net on the boat. I forgot about that. He missed the net so much. Don't forget, that's his wife. Oh my God. Is Pete Soros around to get us a GM again? We're not going to, Mike, are you just saying that because you know it's going to piss me off because you know that story's not true? JJ McCarthy is a poor man's Tyrod Taylor. I don't even think he's a poor man's Tyrod Taylor. What's up, sports critic? Everything is awesome. Is the T Brad, are you still in his house? I wanted to talk to you a minute before I left. Before I'm gonna put the link in the chat, T Brad. If you're still in his house, you hit me up. There it is. Have you on for a few minutes. How are the Knicks doing, guys? Are the Knicks doing well? It's 24-32 for the Knickerbockers. You have let me see here. Yeah, they're not doing too bad. They got like nobody on this roster. You got Hartenstein, DiVincenzo starting, and Precious. I love Precious. My Precious. I actually like him. I mean, he went to Memphis. He's always hurt. He had the groin injury for like a year. But T-Brad, Zagatek says T-Brad is hiding. We need Taylor Swift. We need to sign Travis Kelce. Listen, you had Taylor Swift, at least you'd get some people going to the game. Jeff White says JJ McCarthy would be fine if he sat behind a good NFL quarterback for a couple of years. We don't have that. My problem with JJ McCarthy, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not bashing the kid because of the fact that the way that he was used in Michigan was probably the way he should be used. Harbaugh, I think, literally set him up to be successful in Michigan, and I think, honestly, that is the job of the head coach. I've seen people say that he is an athletic Kirk Cousins, which I thought was insane. I saw that on Twitter. I mean, he does well enough, but I see him as a day 2 talent, maybe a day 3 talent. I don't think, he has the arm strength, but I don't think he has, I don't think he has the velocity. I think he's one of those guys that, like I said, he played within his system. What's crazy about JJ McCarthy is he only had 659 pass attempts in the last 3 years at Michigan. People talk about how Drake May can make all the throws on Sunday. Okay, you don't hear that about McCarthy. And like I said, 659 pass attempts in 3 years as a starter. We always talk about quarterbacks coming out with a limited body of work. And I always talk about how I hate a quarterback that comes out that only had 1 season starting. Now the reverse is happening, that you got guys coming out now that have been in college football for 5 years. I believe Jaden Daniels has been there since 19, and I think Bo Nix is the same thing. They've been in college football since Daniel Jones has been the starting quarterback for the Giants. I mean, so I it's not that I can't say that he's not going to be successful, but I'm just saying you don't know his body as a work, because in 3 years he's only thrown 659 passes, and I don't see this big arm. The Knicks are the saviors of New York. They are right now. Hello, you could have Lex Luthor on. I would have you on OGR, but I want to talk to T-Brad for a minute. And then I got to check out because I got some things I got to do. But definitely next week we'll have you on, or on Sunday if you're around. I hope Michael Pratt balls out for the Senior Bowl, because he seems like a good 2-3 day guy on the draft options if they don't go after a top-tier quarterback. I hope they go after a top-tier quarterback. Christopher says, no quarterback means no playoffs. It means 3 more years. I'm going to tell you this. If we don't take a quarterback this year, the 2025 quarterback class, I'm not looking at it like this is the class. This is the class to grab a quarterback, and this is the class to grab a quarterback even in the later round. Where are you walking to? You're always walking somewhere.
Yeah, heading back to my hotel.
I wanted to have you on because happy birthday.
Yeah, it's definitely not my birthday, brother.
I know, but I just want to. Well,
I was like, thank you for the new birthday. Appreciate it.
one day this year it'll be your birthday.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I hope to be around to see it.
I'm just a little bit early. I want to have you on real quick because of the JJ McCarthy question. you are a Michigan guy.
Yes, hail to the victors.
You are now. One of my issues that I have with JJ McCarthy is I don't know if you heard what I was just talking about. Over the last 3 years, he's only thrown 659 passes.
Yep.
So he doesn't have a full body of work and running a true pro style NFL offense that will allow him to showcase some of his abilities. Where do you think JJ lands in the draft? And where do you think would be the best situation for him to go into?
That's even the second part is difficult.
That's why they pay me the big bucks here.
All right. So I see him as a second round talent, but he could definitely end up being really good because I've seen him throw the ball through tight windows. But again, like you said, he's not asked to do much. That running game controls it and he can manage a team. But he has to go somewhere where he's going to learn behind somebody like
Right.
the Jets. The Jets is in a nice spot. You know what I mean? You sit there behind Aaron Rodgers.
But the problem is, what if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back?
Well, not his problem.
Not JJ's problem. What the fuck? Screw JJ.
But I'm really trying to think of a good spot to go to. Seattle. Geno Smith, he's been through a lot. You know, he's probably not going to be a prima donna and hog the playbook. He'll teach him some.
Oh no, we lost T. Brad. No, we keep losing you, T. Brad. You don't have no audio.
No, am I here?
Hello, T. Brad.
Am I here?
Oh, now you're here.
Okay, yeah. Somebody called me.
Well, tell them you're busy. You're on the hour.
Yeah, I just told my wife I'm busy right now.
Oh.
And the funny thing is I think she's watching the daggone show.
Well, how come she never comes into the chat?
I don't know. She's not doing that.
you know, I would love to talk to your lovely wife. Her. My wife still asks about her every so often, like, when are we going out?
Yeah, hey, we got to put something together. I am in the, as you can see, I'm not. Well, you can't really see, but it's snow on the ground, so I'm not near home.
I was gonna say because I see you breathing the smoke there coming out there. I know it's got to be someplace cold. So
Very cold.
At the end of the day, do you think, or do you have any thought process that maybe someone like JJ McCarthy would be a fit in New York
with the Giants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not with the Rangers. Not with the Devils.
First of all, I know we're older, and sometimes our memories fail.
Yes.
But go back with me, and do you remember me saying, and it was even jokingly, but do you remember me saying, hey, I could see the Giants going and drafting JJ McCarthy?
That's why I asked the question.
I say he's that type of person that the sad thing is, it sounds like such a cliche. But he's a cliche because it's like he's got all the intangibles. Yeah, he doesn't have the body of work, but look at that arm, and he's a great kid, and he's a winner, and all those things are true. But it's also a cliche. So does he come and live up to that? But I would be upset if we grabbed him and said, "This is a Michigan fan talking to you."
And I know that's why I wanted to ask you because I remember we had this conversation a couple Sundays back.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious to see how if the opinion stayed the same.
Go to Vegas and make that bet while the odds are low.
While the odds are low, go make that bet now.
Here's the thing. I also predicted us grabbing Daniel Jones.
You did.
I said, you know what? It was weird. I said, we're gonna grab Daniel Jones. And a buddy of mine was like, no, we're not gonna grab Daniel Jones. We're never I said, listen to me. He looks just like Eli Manning. Mannerism. Just the mannerism was Eli Manning like. Then when I found out they had the same quarterback coach, I said, oh, that's it. That's it. I know a guy who knows a guy who can teach a guy to throw the ball. And
he went
it
to the
worked.
passing camp.
Yeah, and it worked there, it worked there, it has to work here. And sometimes even general managers, they're creatures of habits in their job.
Right.
And it worked last time, it has to work this time, and now it's not working, and they just don't know when to get off. It's like playing a game of chicken. We have to show everybody we were right about this draft. We have to show everybody we were right. Our team keeps losing, but we got to show everybody we're right. Our team keeps losing.
But we got to keep doing the same. Do you have your headphones in?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! Because I was gonna drop your music so everyone in the lobby could hear.
Oh no, they can't. No, it's just me.
The sounds of T. Brad.
But I did want to say something. I texted this to you earlier. Now they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Correct.
So Evan Neal, he was supposed to be this mauler coming out of Alabama, just a big mauler, get to the whatever. Now he was a left tackle. We turned around and made him a right tackle. And as we know, it takes a while to switch up everything. Just like imagine if you eat with your right hand, trying to eat with your left hand for a whole day.
It's doing everything in reverse, yeah.
So he's been doing that for a long time.
There was going to be a good point there. I know what the point was going to be. Oh, there you are. Wait, now you're back. Hold on, wait a minute. We still don't have any audio. No audio. Can't hear you. No, can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Oh,
now I can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Okay. But in this upcoming draft, we have so many people like, oh, we need to take Fashano. We need to take Alt. That is literally doing what we're trying to fix right this second. Grabbing a left tackle and making him a right tackle. Like, don't get me wrong. I think they're both great tackles. And we have so much invested in the first round in the offensive line. How much are we going to do? Like, how much are we going to do? Seriously though.
And second round, and third round, and fifth round, and fourth round.
Like, can we get a playmaker? I remember we had one, but he was on a boat, so we had to get rid of him. No boats. We are at no boat zone unless you're going around to see the Statue of Liberty. No boats.
If we get Marvin Harrison Jr., we got to put that in his contract. You're not allowed to ever go on a boat.
Marvin Harrison Jr. does what he wants.
He can go on a fucking boat. I'll be like, you're all right. Go on a boat.
Matter of fact, take the company boat.
Take the company boat. We're going to throw a boat in the contract. So everything will be good. All right, T-Red, man. I got to jump off here because it's getting late, but I do want to
appreciate you.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Good to talk to you, good people.
It's always good to talk to you. It's always good to have you in the chat. So, man, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, appreciate you. Take care, everybody.
All right, man. Oh, there goes the venerable T-Brad. We didn't close that with the T-Brad music. That's the T-Brad sounds of the T-Brad. I'm going to answer a couple more questions and I'm going to get out of here, guys. If we don't sign McKinney, then no ATVs for you either. That's a good one, too. I want Caleb so badly. I do want Caleb. I'm not going to lie. I've said it before. I want Zach Attack had to leave. Zach, thank you. I want Caleb Williams. I'm not going to lie. Would I be upset if we got Jaden Daniels? No, I probably wouldn't be upset, but I want Caleb. I really do. And I think that's kind of where, maybe I'm going to leave it tonight because I do have to go run upstairs and do a bunch of stuff. I really appreciate everyone coming out. The last couple live streams. Last couple live streams have been awesome. We've had some great conversations. We've had some fun, and I really want to appreciate everyone coming out for and dealing with us and dealing with me. Tim, don't jump. I'm gonna try not to. If we drop JJ McCarthy in second round, I might. Who do you want more? Bo Nix, Penix, McCarthy, or May? Ooh, if I can't have Williams or Daniels, ooh. I would probably go. Wow. Wow, J Sports Cars. Wow. I would have 1A and 1B being Penix and May. Then I would go Knicks, then I'd go McCarthy. That's a great question. That was a great question. Hate the Cowboys, always hit on their offensive line picks. They really do. I just hate the Cowboys in general. But I want to thank everyone for hanging in and hanging out. This is your Giant Straight Talk powered by Online Big Blue LLC. We'll have a video tomorrow on February 1st unless we have breaking news. Appreciate everyone for hanging out there tonight. There you go, guys.